Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell tells Congress that the central bank's plan to raise interest rates could possibly lead to a recession.
Inflation has obviously surprised to the upside over the past year, and further surprises could be in store.
The Fed is making aggressive interest rate hikes to bring down inflation, but Powell admitted that such a plan won't solve high gas prices and high food prices. During a Senate hearing, Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts cautioned that high interest rates could cause job losses.
You know what's worse than high inflation and low unemployment? It's high inflation and a recession with millions of people out of work.
Powell said while it's not the intended outcome, recession is certainly a possibility, but he expressed confidence that the U.S. economy will be able to ride it out. Record high gas prices are hitting Americans hard. The Biden administration calls this the Putin hike, while Republicans say this is because of President Biden's failed policies. Virginia Congressman Bob Good joined us and weighs in.
Congressman Bob Good, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be with you. Thanks for having me again.
Congressman, I want to ask you about the energy crisis that we're facing right now. Do you think this could have been preventable, and if so, how?
This is absolutely a reflection of President Biden's policies. He pledged to declare war on American energy to reduce fossil fuel production in this country. And so the rapid rise in prices of not only what we pay at the pump, but everything else is affected by this president's policies. Almost everything that's manufactured and made has petroleum industry products in it, how it's shipped, how we get it to market. Even online commerce from the chips, the computer chips that are used to provide online commerce is a direct reflection of the manufacturing of the energy industry.
We hear a lot about how energy right now is going up in price because of the war in Russia, things like. Is that actually the case?
No, it's not. Americans know that their gas prices have basically doubled before the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This is a direct reflection of this president's policies where he has restricted American energy production. Frankly, he wants to force us off of fossil fuels. He wants to force Americans to buy high-priced electric vehicles. He wants to force Americans onto public transit. He wants to force them to ride their bikes to work and things like that. So this is them executing their plan on purpose.
I think a lot of the American people probably don't realize that a lot of renewable energy is actually subsidized by the government. Can you explain that to us?
Yes, absolutely. And electric vehicles are the greatest example of that. You've got these vehicles subsidized, and they still are costing an average of $60,000, which is out of reach for most Americans, especially with the Biden price hikes that are costing Americans about $500 a month above what they were paying even just a year ago for just everyday essentials. And while inflation may be only like 9% across the board, the essential items like groceries, housing, cars, fuel, and all is much, much higher than that.
Congressman Bob Good, thank you.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Primary results are in for D.C., Virginia, Alabama, and Georgia. Mayra Flores has been sworn in as a member of Congress. In a win for Republicans, Flores flipped a House seat from blue to red in South Texas.
I am a proud Border Patrol wife and a mother fighting for a better future for our children. I want to inspire every child that today is working in the fields, strawberry, onions, cotton field, and you name it. I want you to know that you can become a congressman, a congresswoman, if you work hard.
Flores' victory is sending a message that Hispanic voters are leaning red. The region she represents has also shown strong support for former President Trump. Flores is the first Mexican-born woman to serve in Congress. She follows in the footsteps of the first Hispanic woman elected to Congress, Elena Ross Lehtinen, who was born in Cuba and was also a Republican. And Republican Senator Kevin Cramer of North Dakota suffered a serious injury to his right hand while working in his yard over the weekend. Cramer announced on Twitter that the injury required immediate surgery. He says that there is a high risk of infection and may need an amputation. The senator will remain in North Dakota, and he plans to return to Washington, D.C. sometime after the 4th of July recess. The U.S. is no longer importing goods from China's Xinjiang region. The Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, which was signed into law by President Biden last year, went into effect. Under the rules, all goods made in Xinjiang will not be allowed in the U.S. unless the importer can provide clear and convincing evidence that no forced labor was used. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Tuesday reaffirmed Biden's commitment to combating forced labor. Blinken said in a statement that the U.S. is rallying its allies and partners to make global supply chains free from the use of forced labor.